Welcome to the IRN-CRU, the American football podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers, and we are back for our fourth season covering all things American football from a Scottish perspective, back to promote the game throughout Scotland, and back to bring together fans of America's greatest export. We're still in talks over a tariff deal. And back in time to look ahead to tonight's 2025 NFL Draft. I'm your host Keith, and when I got up this morning, I wrote two names on a yellow post-it note and put them in my pocket. When I checked for availability of the crew, I knew I had to get Ross and Danny on no matter what. Guys, welcome back after a nice wee break. Danny, how are we doing?
Superb, buddy. Absolutely buzzing for the draft tonight. I think it's got to be a great one because it's just so, and I'm sure we'll get into that. So, I'm absolutely delighted to be back on. It's been again a wee hot minute. It's been busy time after the Super Bowl, so it's just desperate to get back in. We need that NFL fix, and there's no better time of this year than the draft to get that, is there?
Absolutely is. It's a great start to the season. I know the season officially starts whenever the trades and all that go in, but this is the real news of it all. The build-up's been great. We've not done much coverage. We've just really been busy. That's the main part of it there. But we will be back. We will be doing regular podcasts throughout the off-season just to keep you getting your fix of all things American football. But we'll also be talking to some of the people throughout Scotland that are helping to grow the game. I was at the East Kilbride Pirates under-19s game the other day, and it was terrific. What a turnout that they get. The stands are full for the young ones, waiting also for the men's team to play later on. So it was great fun. Studs, what about yourself? What's happening, Big Chief?
Carnage. We try to move and various things like that. So it's good to have a wee break away from all the kind of madness of moving house and moving up to the sticks up by Inverness. So all good, and good to kind of have a wee break for that and chat some ball with you guys.
What's that in the background? Can I hear? Is that banjos I'm hearing in the background, mate? Or is it?
Next time we see him, we'll be lit up by pitchforks and flames and things like that.
A bit of straw hanging. Hi, Mom.
To be fair, I took a dog a walk the other day and I seen more sheep than I did cows.
Yeah, so you'll be our big Highland chief then from now on. That's going to be interesting. Maybe helpful as well for yourself, Danny, up the East Coast as well. We'll try and take the crew on the road. That's some of the things that we're hoping to do again this season is get out there, get some more interactive things, get some more hosting. We did for the Super Bowl night, we did a quiz and walkabout, and we'll be looking to go across the country and hopefully get people together and just to make friendships and share their love of all things American football, because as we've seen over the years, you guys especially, it's grown massively. It's in the zeitgeist now. They're doing all the tops in Zara, and even Tesco I've seen are selling like jet skier. So just wait till the good teams start getting their stuff over here. That's what we're waiting on. Right, gentlemen. Great. We're just going to dive right into it. We've got the draft tonight. It's came about. I don't know. It's been a weird one. There's been lots of talk, but I still don't think everybody is absolutely dead set on who is going to go in which position and where. Boys, for all those who are watching and listening, I want you to send us a wee message just now. I want you to let us know who is your team to get, no matter what. Of course, referencing the great draft day, which I'm going to stick on later on. Aldous hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, I'm going to stick it.
Me too. It's an absolute staple, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, no matter what, who should your team be picking with their first pick? Right, great. let's start with you guys then. Studs, have you got anyone in mind? Maybe a wide receiver would help your guys.
Another wide receiver. I think for me, the Chiefs have got a habit of kind of trading. To be honest, we've seen it a few years ago with the Orlando Brown trade where they needed offensive line help, so they went and traded with the Ravens. Obviously traded up last year with the Bills to kind of get Xavier Worthy. So Brett Veach isn't shy making a trade or two. So wouldn't surprise me to see the Chiefs actually trade. Whether they go up or down, it will depend who's on the board for them. But for me, I think the obvious need for the Chiefs is their offensive line. I think they need to try and pick up and in the draft, try and unearth some more gems from that front. But again, it'll depend who's available for them and how high they want to maybe move up to kind of try and, if they've earmarked a guy, how high they may be willing to go up to try and get him, or are they willing to, if they've seen somebody maybe later on where they can trade back, get a couple more picks on that front as well. So, but I think offensive line seems like the kind of obvious option for the Chiefs.
What about the Patriots? Of course, under new head coach there, and Vrabel returning to the team they once played for. What about the Pats then, Danny? Who are you guys looking to get?
Right, so we need everything. We have holes everywhere. We actually need a kicker, and I think it'd be a good laugh going to take one of them at 4 just to see the world explode. But no, I think, again, I think the top 3 is locked in. I think it's got to go Ward, Hunter, Carter. After that, I think it's just a bit it's so wide and so open. I think it's just such a level playing field. I personally think that the Patriots are, we should just be taking the best player available because we do need superstars. And when you're picking the top 5, you want a blue chip player in there who's got to be a starter and going to make a difference. Now, Will Campbell is obviously highly kind of regarded as he's got to go in Patriots at number 4. Offensive tackle, LSU, short arms, what is it, 33-inch arms, they're making a big deal of that. Am I sold on it? Not 100%. We need the left tackle, nothing, has got to do Drake May more favours than actually protect him and keep him upright. But are you willing to spend a 4th round pick and somebody potentially has got to be playing guard in a year's time because he's not been able to actually make the adjustments into the NFL and play left tackle? So there's a part of me is kind of like, okay, well, where do you go from there? Well, if the opportunity comes up, you move back. That's exactly what I wish the Patriots can do, because part of the strategy, if I'm Elliot Wolf, is try to then move back in the bottom end of the 1st round. So try and move back, say, trade with the Bears, say they want to move up and take Ashton Genty or something like that at number 4, getting ahead of the Jags, who might want to kind of take him at 5. Trade back to number 10, I think they're at. Okay, if they miss out on Will Campbell there, then there's Kelvin Banks Jr. and there's the other big tackle, what's he called? Membu, is it? I think out of Missouri. No, I think he's a guard. So anyway, pass on that one. But anyway, they've got options there at tackle, which they could take further back, take the picks, and then I'd love to see them move back in maybe the late 20s, early mid-20s, and try and go for a wide receiver. If somebody like, what's the boy, Luther Burden? Is that his name? Wide receiver, if he's still available. Luther Burden the third, Matthew Golden's still available. Possibly, okay, look at my list up here. Egbuka, that's the boy I was looking for as well at Ohio State. I think if any of these guys have been able to slip, I think that'd be a brilliant draft for the Patriots. They've got the picks. You've got to go ball. Go and get some good blue chip quality players in that team and make a difference for Drake May in his sophomore year.
Well, that's the thing. You guys seem to be settled and happy with your quarterback. It certainly showed some flashes last season. You saw a wee bit of that when you were down for the London game, Danny. So they've got to protect them first and foremost. I think that's the main thing. Right, good. Let's go for the 1st round then. So you think it pretty much tied up then? The Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, and New York Giants have got their first 3 picks absolutely signed, sealed, and delivered. Nobody's going to be able to tempt them out of moving from those positions. What do you think, Studs?
For me, I think the first 3 picks in terms of players are nailed on. Who's making those picks is what's going to be interesting. I think the Titans are taking Cam Ward, right? I don't think the Titans will move, but obviously the rumours in the last couple of days are that the Browns and Giants are potentially shorting those picks. Who they're shorting them to and whether they get an acceptable offers, the obvious difference. I mean, I don't think there's any denying that Travis Hunter is, everybody's describing him as the generational talent. We know he plays both ways. What systems are going to get into? Is he going to start as a wide receiver? Is he going to start as a cornerback? Those are all the kind of, I suppose, the kind of interesting questions on that front. I mean, the Browns don't even have a quarterback, so who, if he goes there and they see him as a wide receiver first, who's actually going to be throwing him the ball? Right now, you've got Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. Is that an ideal situation for a rookie to kind of come into? Probably not, being perfectly honest. But I do think those first three players are your kind of nailed on guys. After that, that's where it gets a bit more interesting. As Danny said, obviously, Patriots are looking at offensive tackle. I kind of put it in one of your chats today that if I'm the Patriots, Ashton Jeanty was ridiculous in college last year at Boise State. I think he was runner-up in the Heisman voting. If Mike Vrabel loves his power running backs, as we know, for his time at the Titans, would it surprise you to take Ashton Jeanty? Is he better than Ramondre Stevenson? As a prospect, he probably is. So the Patriots, wouldn't it surprise me to see the Patriots stick and go Ashton Jeanty, and then that just messes up the likes of the Jags, the Bears, and who else was it? The Raiders, I think he's been drafted to a lot of times. So I think it's going to get very interesting, and I think starting at 2 is when you could even start seeing the trades coming in.
So Tennessee Titans, I'm still shocked that they're going for a QB. I'm still keeping the faith with Will Levis, and you never know. After 6 games, you might see him come in and never come out again. But I can understand why they're going after Cam Ward. So Browns are drafting. Who are we thinking for Browns then?
Hunter.
If the Browns stick, they've got to go Hunter.
He's the best player in the draft. It's as simple as that. In a draft that seems to be lacking of true generational blue chip talent, I think that's an easy decision for them. Stack up good players.
Is it realistic though for him to think that he is going to be able to play both ways and be in pretty much 100% of all the snaps? I just think the game's too physical. It's too demanding for him to expect to be. So he was doing his cornerback, he's covering. I'm trying to think who would be up against Tyreek. Getting chased down the pitch and then having to come back on and try and make similar runs himself. I think that's a bit much to expect of yourself. Maybe when he's young, first couple of seasons, he might have all the juice, the energy, but he's going to have to focus in one position, one area, and just become a legend there.
It's a massive amount of playbook to ask him to learn as well, because you're asking him to learn the playbook for both sides of the ball. So from a realistic standpoint, you do want him focusing on one, and then you look at can we have some packages for him? So maybe focus again, depends on which team drafts him. Maybe focuses on wide receiver, and then he's in on third downs as cornerback when they know they're going to be chucking the ball, those kind of things. But I do think it's going to take a physical toll on him to play kind of both ways. You mentioned obviously Tyreek Hill. Think about if he goes to the Browns in that division, he's got DK Metcalf that he could be coming up against, and George Pickens.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
T. Higgins. He's got a lot of very good wide receivers to kind of come up against. So I think it is a lot to ask of him, but he seems adamant that that's what he's want to do.
Okay, Giants then, Abdul Carter, an agreement there that go for him. And then, Danny, you're thinking Will Campbell maybe for your Pats, or I think they might be the first to trade back.
I think they would trade back if they're given the chance to. I don't even think it would take the world, because again, I don't think it's a seller's market this year. It's not like the quarterback class of last year where teams might look to move up and would happily sell the farm for it. I think, yeah, if you can maybe get something for it, another second round pick or something like that, yeah, fine. But getting multiple ones or anything like that to move into the top 5, I just don't see it happening. So unless they get a decent offer, as I said, to me, I'm looking at it and going, Bears could be the first one I'm sort of looking at there, who might fancy it. They might see, say, Ashton Genty as being that kind of missing piece for them. Well, worth spending the money, moving up and getting them there. Happy enough with that. But I think the general consensus that now through the league seems to be it'll be Will Campbell.
The Jags are currently at 5. If Genty was to drop to there, is that really a position that they need to reinforce? I think Bigsby had a great season last year, but was injured a fair bit. Travis Etienne as well there, but I don't.
But I think that's where this draft I think is going to be really interesting. And it could start at this position. Is there's some trade rumor through Etienne possibly in the block. So again, watch people in PCs get moved about the board a bit. We're about to come up to the Raiders. Obviously, Colton Miller is looking for a new contract. Could he be a potential trade target for teams as well, moving about? And so I can see a lot of players getting traded as well tonight, and I think that could then influence it. To be honest, again, in a draft like this, for a team like the Jags, I think it'd be stupid to pass on Genty at this position, just given, again, take the best player available. One of the worst things I think teams can do in a draft is overthink it. Like, don't get too clever. What the hell? I've had years of watching Bill Belichick overthink it and take bloody Cole Strange and stuff like that in 29, or bloody even last year when we decided to trade back when we had Lad McConkey in our laps and we moved back to take Jalen Polk. So come on, don't overthink it. Take the best player, Ashton Genty. He's on that would do it for me.
Okay. You mentioned at 6 we've got the Las Vegas Raiders. The ideas, the feeling coming out of the capital of the casino seems to be that the adults are in charge now. They seem to be doing things the right way. They seem to be going about it the right way. It doesn't seem to be run in such a comical manner that they're listening to their star rushers for who should be coming in as head coach. Kelvin Banks Jr., Texas OT is the rumoured one. We're going by Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft here. He seems to be one of the names highly linked to the Raiders, and it seems to be they're going for the positions of need more than anything else just now. They look as if they are a team that's realising that they have to build, and they're building the right way. Well, that's the theory behind it. We'll wait and see what they actually do with their first pick.
The GM said I think it was his sons told him if he doesn't pick Ashton Genty, he'll never talk to him again. So they're one that say I think holding out hope that Genty falls to them, but I'm with Danny. I can't see it now. I think initially when I was looking at it, I could see Genty falling to them, but now I genuinely I think the Patriots or the Jags take Genty.
Yeah. Jets, shocker, isn't it? They're back in the top 10 for picks after a mediocre season last year. Armand Membu, Missouri tackle. What we thinking about him being linked to the Jets there?
I think it's a position I need. I think they'll end up going either Membu or Kelvin Banks. There was a lot of pre-buzz as well about Tyler Warren going there, tight end. I think, again, another position of need that they've got. But I think they play it safe. I think they just want to kind of build up. They've had a few misses over the past few years in their offensive tackles. I forgot the lad's name, Mekhi Becton and stuff like that. They've not quite panned out for them. So I think they'll go in here just with a nice, easy, stable pick. Try and keep our man Fields upright. And I think they'll go for Membu.
Panthers up next. Then the Saints. Saints don't tend to to ever really trade back there. Ones were always trading up the draft order. Is there anything there that really catches the eye for them? Would they be possibly trying to go and get Ginty there?
I think the Saints are one of these teams. Danny obviously joked with the Patriots earlier that they need everything. The Saints are a team that genuinely do need everything. Their quarterbacks obviously going for shoulder surgery, which isn't the ideal for them, so they could be a potential landing spot for somebody like Shedeur Sanders. But they've just got so many positions that they need to fill in now. Again, genuinely, you could see them going anywhere. And it wouldn't really surprise anyone, to be honest.
That is a name that we hadn't actually brought up yet. He's been really the story of the draft so far, hasn't he? Shedeur Sanders, but it's not just him, it's him and his dad that you'd be getting. Seems to be the main issue there. Dion's been a successful coach, doing well. Is it Colorado he's at?
Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, so he seems to be doing well there, but he seems to have a lot to say about his son and where his son's definitely going or where his son's definitely not going. Again, this is silly season. This could just be rumours that are going about, just trying to drum up interest in it. But it could also be, I think it's what the thing is, it's believable. Just with the larger life persona that Dion's got, you can kind of see that this could actually be true. Danny, where do you see him falling to? Is he going to do a Will Levis and not even make it into the first round of the draft?
I think he'll sneak in the bottom end. I wouldn't be surprised to see perhaps like a Giants or something like that. Although there seems to be more buzz about Jackson Dart. I was going to say Dart actually going to the Giants and come back in. I see more buzz about him rather than Shedeur. Whether he falls, I can see him falling, to be honest. I just don't. It's a shame because a lot of the press that's coming out there now just seems to completely go after him. Now, whether it's founded or not, it's like stocks. It's like the stock market. You know, they're just kind of tanking his stock now big time, and it counts. You've seen it before. You've seen it over the years, just absolute plumbing. And now whether he ends up with Steelers, possibly does Saints maybe try and move back into the first round and try and pick him up towards the back end. I was listening to Lance Zierlein, I think it was today, on it, and it was interesting because he was saying that you don't really want to be taking a quarterback in the second round. There's no benefit to that because you're either high on them enough that you just go and take them in the first and get that fifth-year option while they're cheap. Or if you're not convinced on them, why take them in the second? It makes no sense. You're still going to need to pay them, stuff like that. So wait to the third to take them. So if he ends up slipping out of the first, how far does he then slip in the second? If teams are willing, you end up trying to take them in the high 30s. Well, you end up, you've wasted essentially almost a first round pick on somebody who you're actually not that convinced in. So I think the obvious ones those are talking about is possibly the Rams, I've heard, in the late 20s, if he falls that far, is back up to Matthew Stafford, working under Sean McVay. That'd be a decent shout for him. And again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, but maybe Mike Tomlin's the man to actually kind of just keep that ego in check a wee bit.
It seemed that you mentioned Dart there. I think the rumours from that one was mostly coming from Joe Schoen's son, who had sent a message up on Instagram about it. To be fair, he should have been. He listened to his son last year, who was saying Jaden Daniels was the man to go for. So you never know, the wee man might have a future in there.
There's definitely Old Miss links with the Giants as well, though. You just need to look at probably their most successful quarterback who came out of Old Miss for them. Sorry, Danny, but he won a couple of Super Bowls for them against
we don't mention that
name. And then I think I was hearing today on a podcast that Joe Judge is actually working at Old Miss, who's formerly of the Giants as well. So they'll be able to get a good inside track on him as well. So it wouldn't. I'm kind of similar. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Giants trade back into the first round. If they stick and take Abdul Carter at 3, wouldn't surprise me to see the Giants kind of sneak in to try and make sure they get Jackson Dart and again take advantage of that 5th-year contract option.
they've not better wait until next year and going for the family dynasty and getting Archie.
Another
is that maybe? Yeah, they're good at it. Nobody would think that they're doing anything other. Yeah, Jackson Dart, that's certainly another one to look out for. What about yourselves here, guys? We'll be finishing up shortly, just a wee short one this evening, but we will be back for a bit of coverage about the draft. The three of us will probably be up to watch most of it, or bits of it anyway. We'll be covering it on our social media feeds. You can join in along with us there. Tell us who you think is going to be the surprise pick of the evening. What about players then? Who's standing out to you that might be maybe not go in the first round, but it'll be a really, really good pickup for someone somewhere?
Do you take this one, Studs?
I was going to say, having watched the kind of national championship run from the college side of things, I like Judkins, and I think he's going to be in the kind of third round, maybe late second, early third round. From a Chiefs perspective, I'd love to see him come in and work alongside the likes of Pacheco for the next season. I think he's just a powerful running back. He can play all three downs. A lot of love for Judkins for Ohio State.
What about you, Danny Boy?
I think this is... So a couple of players I've been keeping a close eye on. Jalen Noel, wide receiver. I think he has potential in maybe the second round or later. Again, he could be good. In the first round, I think we'll look for Walter Nolan. I think he could be a surprise in the top 10. He's... was a defensive tackle, Mississippi. I think he's starting to get a bit of buzz. Again, if you look at offensive tackles, Josh Simmons as well. Again, they're not. Again, this whole draft. There is a lot of players. I think after the top sort of two players, really the blue chip ones, it's then very level. It's very even. I think it's just got to be sort of what's the best fit, who they're seen as the best sort of player. I think if you did kind of track, Daniel Jeremiah, top 100 or top 50 players over the course of the last sort of 6 months, it would be like a roller coaster ride. People kind of going up and down and stock drop and stuff like that. So I think it's got to be really hard to kind of figure out who's going to fall where. But yeah, it should be actually really interesting. As I said earlier, I am 100% seeing there's going to be lots of players getting traded. I think there's teams going to be trying to get out the first round, try to come back into the first round, and I think it is going to be like Kevin Costner in there just telling people, pancake eating motherfucker sort of thing like that. I think they're going to be shouting on the phone at one another, and it's I think it's going to be a really fascinating night.
Fantastic. The Worrells team, thanks very much for getting in touch. They have sent a message in suggesting that Judkins will be second round and a happy draft date, lads. Thanks very much to the Worrells team podcast. Fantastic guys over there, Paul and the rest of the guys covering all things to do with the Dem Cowboys.
Paul's hoping that Judkins falls to the Cowboys in the early second round.
They need a bit of everything though, don't they?
They're a stick on for a wide receiver in the first round. They'll go for Tet if they can get him. They're 100%.
What about Jerry Jones coming out today saying that he's working on trades as well?
It's Jerry. The guy's nuts. It's just billionaires and their toys, mate.
That's exactly it. He's needing to just give it up and let somebody a wee bit more competent win for the team. Paul's saying get back there to say that he'd love to have Judkins, and we won't go for Tet. Knowing us, we'll have to go for Josh Simmons. There we go. It's a shame.
I don't think that'd be a bad pickup. They've obviously had a great offensive line not that long ago. Players have now got older, moved on. Got to build up somewhere. Got to try and keep Dak healthy some way.
Just quickly look at Peter Schrager's mock draft. He's got the Cowboys taking Tyler Brooker at 12. Just because Paul was on there, I was like, I'll just have a quick wee nosy to see, because P. Schrags famously only does one mock draft and he releases it the kind of day of the draft. So yeah, interesting to see who he's got the Cowboys taking.
Interesting indeed. Okay, funny names. Which funny names have jumped out at you for covering this so far? There's always a couple. We had Kool-Aid McKinstry last year. A couple of actual belters. I'm going to go for, of course, PJ's son, RJ Harvey. His mum had a couple of big hits in the noughties, of course. Paulie Harvey, big fan. I think he'll do well. Running back out of UCF. I'm trying to think anybody else worth. Some of the names are absolutely brilliant. Tetairoa McMillan. This is just Colston Loveland. This is just
Loveland
wonderful.
sounds amazing, doesn't it? Definitely a porn star name. Don't know if I can take him seriously, but it's a cracker of a name. I would like him as a Patriot.
Yeah.
I could get a jersey.
Jake, there's some other one. Jake Brenning still. That's a cracker. Don't know where that came from. Yeah, some of your favourite names. Who's going to be the deep superstars in the draft?
Well, just a namesake. So I'm going through some of these names. I'm glad I don't need to stand in front of like a billion people and trying to pronounce some of these. God, I'd butcher them.
Listen, you never know. It might be us in a couple of years' time. Big shout out to the UK Ravens, who will be doing their draft from Manchester, I believe. That's a great wee nod to the international scene from the NFL. So be looking out for them and doing their pick. Anything else that you have noticed over the week then, guys, or anything to look out for?
No, again, as to say, I just think there's got to be players traded left, right, and centre. I don't think people are done yet. I think they're going to see a lot more value in veterans than actually in draft picks this year. So I do see people when people are on their final year of their contract, or what was it? George Pickens today deleted everything about the Steelers off his Instagram or whatever it was. Face chat, whatever other Belichickian term we want to use. But again, so watch this sort of thing happening. Again, from a kind of selfish point of view, I'm looking as a Patriots fan. I would love them to go and do something daft like that. Go trade a second round pick or go and trade a pick and go and get Jesus, what was his name? Jesus, the lad out of Colton Miller, sorry, for the Ravens as a tackle. Go and take Gente at number 4 and then try and come back in and go and take a wide receiver at the tail end of the first round. I'd love a team to just be bold, a wee bit like the Texans did. Was it last year or year before when they took CJ Stroud and then come right back in and took Will Anderson? Go be brave. Like, why not? So that's what I'd love to see. But I'd love to see a few teams do that. Carolina, though I don't know how many picks they've got, but there's a few teams out there are stacked. 10, 11 sort of picks. So go spend them. Go package them up and go see what you can do. So I think there'll be a lot of that happening tonight. I think there'll be a few general managers will be jumping a bit back and forwards, a few mobile phones in the go. So it's just absolutely got to be fascinating. And then, as I say, we wake up tomorrow and we're going to find out well, I'm going to do my best to stay up, but we'll see how that goes. I'm in the office at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, so I don't fancy my chances, but we'll see how it goes.
I think the interesting tweet that I think we've all kind of seen now as well is the fact that it's the first time since 1967 that every team's had their first round draft pick. Again, I don't think that'll last. I'm not suggesting that every team's taking their own draft pick on that front, but I think an interesting wee start on that one.
Fantastic. So taking place up in Green Bay. Looking forward to seeing the razzmatazz of it all, and I love when they get some of the fans involved to come and do the picks. Most importantly, I'm looking forward to seeing the hats on them. I like the wee thing that they did last year where they put the hat on with the camera behind the mirror, seeing them get a wee pose on before they go out and nearly break the commissioner's back all over again. It was pretty cool.
It's interesting to see how many actually don't want to attend it anymore. And particularly how many want to go to Green Bay. It seems like we've had the stage in the fountains and the Bellagio, and where are we going now? Wisconsin. Oh, great! Can't wait to go there. But But I hope for a right good boon at Roger Goodell. That's why I'd go just for a right good boon. So
That's always how it starts anyway.
We've got a couple of hours before it actually kicks off here, so I'm away to get a wee couple of shot eye before it starts. I'll get this up and loaded for everyone to listen back to. Let us know how you feel your team's done with their first pick. Drop us a wee message at IRN-CRU across all the socials and get in touch, get involved. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and we'll make sure we read them out and get everybody involved. Thanks very much to Paul from the World's Team podcast. Sent your message in. Danny, great to have you back, bud.
Absolutely delighted to be back, mate. And hopefully you're seeing a lot more of me in the coming weeks and months.
Hopefully not. Keep the jumper on in that, bud. That's appreciated. Big Highland Chief. Great to have you back. Best of luck with the house move.
Cheers, man. Not quite Highland Chief yet, but aye, coming soon.
We'll need to pick him up on his accent, Danny, whenever he gets up there, Ken?
I know, I'll be seeing Ken and fit like I'm wanting to talk in this place right enough, but it's not going to be long for he doing it. He's got I bet he end up with a beard soon enough as well, Studs. That's going to happen. It gets cold and lonely up there, pal.
I'd love to be able to grow a beard, but honestly, if I had a cat, I'd be able to lock it off.
I'm going to get his all IRN-CRU snapbacks apart for you, Studs. You're getting a flat cap one. A wee bit of IRN-CRU tartan on there as well. Magic. Thanks very much for listening. We will be back next week with some analysis, irreverent analysis of the draft. Until then, enjoy your football, and we will speak to you soon.